welcome traders to our midweek technical analysis video. So jumping straight into things here, going from where we last left off. So if you remember, we established that price had come down to test this level as a support at around 3,355. I will go ahead and grab a brush and just sort of mark in what I am talking about. So you can see that this level was tested as a support multiple times. Obviously we did touch up on the initial open to the week, which is indicated by this candlestick here. You saw price become extremely bullish. However, we saw a significant amount of exhaustion indicated by the size of this candlestick. Price then came down, tested this level as a support multiple times, and then we saw price end up coming out, and we saw an interesting thing. We saw a fake out here. So let me go ahead and grab an eclipse for you, and we can go ahead and I can really show you what we're talking about. So we sort of saw a fake out here. So if you remember this red arrow, it was yellow. I changed it to red prior to this video, but if you remember, we marked in this arrow in our last technical analysis and anticipated that price would reject off of this support and continue on bullish, eventually touching our next point of interest at around 3,393, which is the same resistance as this consolidation block that we spoke about in the previous week. You can see that price ended up breaking through this level. We saw price start trading above this trend line that we have marked in. However, obviously, if you understood and if you was listening in our last video, you'll remember that we spoke about this level needing to be broken through, clearing these highs to then continue on bullish in a more significant way. However, as you can see, price ended up breaking through that trend line, giving us the first confirmation of a bullish move. However, price ended up being crushed essentially at this next point of interest, which would have been our second confirmation for a bullish move. So we almost had a fake out. Price ended up coming above this level and then dropping straight back through not long after. So clearing up a few of these drawings and moving on. As you can see, after we saw that fake out, price ended up continuing bearish, with price dropping from around 3,390 to finding support at around 3,295. So roughly a 900 to 1,000 pip bearish move. So as you know, and as you can see, it's a significant bearish move. So eventually, so we obviously continued down. Let me go ahead and mark this up a little bit clearer. So we had that fake out. We saw that bullish momentum, that bearish momentum push price down. We first ended up coming to test a level of support. As you can see, price has tested within this point of interest multiple times as both a support and resistance. Price then created its first lower low and lower high, followed by another low. But however, as you can see, price ended up coming out and cancelling out and invalidating this sort of structured lower low, lower high bearish momentum or bearish move. Price then has ended up moving sideways, and that is where we are trading right now. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and drop down into the minute 15 time frame so we can really understand what is going on in a little bit more detail. So as you can see, we are sort of testing within a range right now. We have sort of a bottom side support and a top side resistance. It might be hard to see. Let me go to minute 5 real quick and we'll mark in these lower levels that I'm talking about. So we have one level here. As you can see, we initially, this was sort of the order block, the positioner, the position filler, if you will, where orders were set when we originally saw this, the start of this bearish move. If I go ahead and grab a volume oscillator, you will see what I'm talking about. Bear with me. Let's have a look. So there we go. We'll go ahead and mark it from here to here. So as you can see, this is sort of the rough order block, as you can see as well. Obviously this was the main point of volume, but you can see that this level here as well, we had a significant amount of orders. So price ended up sort of moving sideways on the lower time frames, dropped down, and then has since moved sideways again, obviously now giving us this level, which has in the future acted as both resistance and support. Where has it acted as both resistance and support? So as you can see, one resistance, support, and support, and then we have a top side level of resistance. We also have sort of a mid level starting from this candlestick here. So obviously, as you can see, it was the first point of significant and clean resistance, and then as you can see, we have resistance, support, support, and recently resistance. So again, we have sort of a middle pivotal point, and we have a lower sort of bottom side support and a top side resistance being this level here, which you can see has tested, which is one of our points of interest anyway. And you can see that this was sort of indicated to us that, okay, cool, we're testing on a previous support, as you can see. So There's a few potential moves that we could see take place from here. One being a consolidating continuation. So we could see price just sort of move sideways. We could see price exhaust, maybe come down to the bottom side or the top side points of interest, and then just sort of continue on sideways before it makes its move. However, going over probability, because that's what trading is about. As of right now, we are on our minute 5 time frame, and we're going to go ahead and show you both a bullish and bearish scenario. So obviously we have understood that we have both our top side resistance, we have our middle sort of pivotal point, and we have our bottom side support as of right now on our minute 5 time frame. Remember, this is minute 5. And remember, the lower the time frame, the less or the weaker the information, the higher the time frame, the stronger the information. So make sure you are taking that into account. But as of right now, sort of analyzing and analyzing price action that we can see on the minute 5, we're going to go ahead and just sort of establish what we are looking for. So taking into account the top side resistance, bottom side support, and the sort of middle pivotal point, we're going to go ahead and mark in a couple scenarios. So as you can see, we obviously found let's forget about any of this information, just focus on from this candlestick onwards. As you can see, we've created a high and we've created a higher low. The higher low was on the previous level of resistance here, when we sort of again got that order block and price ended up pushing up. So one indication for us there. We're then wanting to see, this is for a bullish move, remember, we're then wanting to see price break through this middle pivotal point, which is around 3,328, give or take. If we see price break through this level from here, we're going to anticipate price to go down, go through to that top side resistance. If we then see price hit that top side resistance, and we see price end up clearing through this top side resistance and finishing higher and clearing out these previous highs, we're going to anticipate on our higher time frames, we're going to anticipate our next level, which is around 3,355 roughly. So that's going to be the confirmations needed and the moves and price action needed for a bullish move to take place. However, there is definitely still a possibility for a bearish move as of right now. Bearish move would look something like this. So obviously we found that support, we found resistance at the middle pivotal point, and we are currently testing here. So what we could potentially see is we could see price sort of fizzle out here, the bullish volume drop on the lower time frames, and then price continue on bearish. We're going to be looking for that bottom side support to be broken through. If we see that bottom side support broken through, the next level that we're going to be anticipating for price to come to is around 3,312, which is this sort of same level here as we saw on the final sort of level of support from this recent drop. So with that being said, that is our midweek technical analysis. So as of right now, in conclusion, we have seen a significant bearish move. We are anticipating both a potential bullish and bearish scenario. However, I would say as of right now, a bullish scenario is a lot more likely and a lot more probable than a bearish move, just taking into consideration of how much bearish momentum we have seen recently. Obviously, if you see down here, we can see a if I go ahead and just mark this in, we can actually see that we have a economic news event taking place today, which is our Fed Chair Powell testimony, which could and most likely will inject some volume into the markets. Obviously, if it is beneficial for the dollar, gold will most likely continue bearish. However, if we do see some negative news for the US economy and for the US dollar, gold's price will most likely go up. So again, concluding it one more time, we've seen a bearish, a significant bearish move, roughly 1,000 pips, and we are sort of, price is sort of creeping itself way back out of this sort of area now, with this sort of lower time frame range that we're looking at, with the top side resistance, bottom side support, and middle pivotal point. We're anticipating, or sorry, not anticipating, we're analyzing these 3 levels, and then we can then determine whether we are going to see a bullish move pulling price out of these depths, or a bearish continuation taking price lower and lower. So again, that's going to be our midweek technical analysis. I hope you have all enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.